Every single day, we are given 24 hours, a gift more precious than gold, yet often taken for granted. Within those hours lies the power to shape our future, not by waiting for opportunities to knock, but by choosing to invest in ourselves through learning. Self-education is not about sitting in classrooms or collecting degrees. It is about the hunger to grow, the courage to ask questions, and the determination to never stop improving. The world around us is constantly changing. New ideas are born, technology is evolving, and challenges emerge every day. If we refuse to learn, we stand still while everything else moves forward. But if we dedicate even a small portion of our day to educating ourselves, reading a book, listening to a meaningful talk, exploring a new perspective, we plant seeds of wisdom that will bear fruit in every area of our lives. Self-education empowers us to take control of our destiny. It teaches us that failure is not the end, but a lesson. It reminds us that no matter where we come from or what obstacles we face, our minds are limitless when fueled with knowledge. Each new insight, each new lesson becomes a tool we can use to overcome fear, fight injustice, and contribute meaningfully to the world. The most powerful investment you can make is not in possessions or status, but in yourself. When you grow, everything around you grows. When you learn, you expand the possibilities of your life. Daily self-education does not just transform your future. It transforms your character, your resilience, and your ability to inspire others. So commit, even if it is just 15 minutes a day, to feed your mind with knowledge. Choose learning over distraction, growth over comfort, and progress over excuses. One day, when you look back, you will realize that those daily choices built the person you became, stronger, wiser, and unshakable. Your story is not defined by the limits placed upon you, but by the knowledge you gather, the wisdom you apply, and the lives you impact. The power is already in your hands. Use it wisely. Time is the most valuable resource we are given, yet it often slips through our fingers unnoticed. Every single day we wake up with 24 hours in our hands. These hours are more powerful than wealth, more lasting than possessions, and more influential than any external circumstance. Unlike money or material things, time cannot be saved, borrowed, or regained once lost. What makes time unique is that it is equally distributed to everyone, no matter who you are, where you come from, or what your background may be. A successful person and an unsuccessful person both receive the same number of hours in a day, but the difference lies in how those hours are used. When we consciously decide to devote even a small portion of this priceless gift to self-education, we are essentially shaping our future in ways that ripple throughout our lives. Many people believe they do not have enough time to learn, to read, or to improve themselves. Yet, the truth is that time is not lacking. It is our priorities that determine how much of it we actually use productively. Think about how often hours are lost scrolling aimlessly through social media, engaging in unproductive conversations, or dwelling in distractions that add nothing to our growth. If just 15 minutes a day were reclaimed from these habits and invested in learning something new, the results over weeks, months, and years would be life-changing. Those few minutes each day may not seem like much, but consistency turns them into an ocean of knowledge. Greatness does not come from sudden bursts of effort. It comes from steady, deliberate steps taken every single day. The value of time in self-education is not only in the quantity of hours we dedicate, but also in the quality of our attention. Imagine reading a single page with focus and curiosity. It can open your mind to new perspectives, new possibilities, and fresh ways of seeing the world. Knowledge does not require endless hours. It requires intention. A person who makes a habit of giving their best attention to even short periods of learning will always progress more than someone who spends long hours distracted or half-heartedly engaged. Time, when combined with intention, becomes the foundation of transformation. Self-education also teaches us respect for the present moment. Too often, we delay learning by convincing ourselves that tomorrow will be better, that next week will be easier, or that someday we will finally have enough time. But tomorrow is never guaranteed, and someday may never arrive. The only time we truly have is today, right now, this very hour. When we decide to use the present moment to enrich our minds and expand our wisdom, we honor the gift of time. Every book we open today, every skill we practice today, every reflection we make today becomes part of the foundation upon which our future is built. The most successful individuals in history did not wait for a perfect time. They created progress with the hours they already had. What makes time extraordinary is that it compounds. Just as money can grow when invested wisely, time grows when spent learning consistently. 15 minutes a day may not transform your life overnight, but over a year, that is over 90 hours of dedicated learning. In 5 years, it becomes nearly 500 hours. Now imagine what nearly 500 hours of purposeful growth could mean in terms of new skills, deeper understanding, and expanded opportunities. Time, when invested daily, accumulates into wisdom that no one can take away from you. It becomes part of your character, part of your resilience, and part of the legacy you leave behind. The way we treat time also reflects the way we value ourselves. If we allow our hours to be wasted, it means we do not fully recognize our own potential. But when we guard our time and dedicate it to growth, we send a message to ourselves that our life is worth investing in. This act of valuing time builds self-discipline, clarity, and strength. It creates a mindset that seeks progress instead of excuses, growth instead of stagnation. In turn, this mindset influences every decision we make, guiding us towards actions that align with our highest purpose. Time, therefore, is not just a neutral resource, it is a mirror of our choices. How we use it today reflects how much we truly desire to learn, to evolve, and to create a better tomorrow. Every hour we spend on self-education is a brick laid in the foundation of our future, and while we may not see the full structure immediately, over time it rises into something solid, powerful, enduring. The gift of time becomes the story of our growth, and the moments we invest in learning today become the achievements and wisdom of tomorrow. Self-education has often been misunderstood as something that can only happen within classrooms, lecture halls, or formal institutions. Many people equate learning with degrees, certificates, and structured systems of education. While these are valuable, they are not the only sources of knowledge, nor are they the most powerful. True self-education goes beyond classrooms. It is about cultivating an inner curiosity, a desire to explore, and a commitment to never stop improving regardless of external recognition. It is not limited by age, status, or circumstance. It belongs to anyone who has the hunger to grow. The essence of self-education lies in curiosity. From childhood, we are born with questions. We wonder why the sky is blue, how things work, or what lies beyond what we can see. Sadly, as we grow older, many of us stop asking those questions. We fall into routines, accept the obvious, and silence our sense of wonder. But self-education revives that curiosity. It keeps us alive to possibilities, urging us to read, to listen, to observe, and to challenge what we think we know. It teaches us to value questions as much as answers, because every new question becomes a doorway to deeper understanding. Unlike formal education, self-education is not bound by rigid syllabi or standardized tests. It allows you to design your own path, to pursue knowledge that excites your mind and nourishes your soul. A person might not have the privilege of higher education, yet with access to books, mentors, and the vast resources of today's world, they can cultivate wisdom that rivals or even surpasses traditional learning. The greatest thinkers, inventors, and leaders of history often credit their achievements not only to what they were taught in schools, but to what they taught themselves outside of them. Their drive to learn was stronger than the walls of any classroom. Another beauty of self-education is its flexibility. You are not restricted to one subject or discipline. You can expand across many. You might read philosophy to understand the human condition, study science to grasp the wonders of the universe, learn languages to connect with different cultures, or develop practical skills that enhance your daily life. This freedom allows you to become multidimensional, to weave together diverse streams of knowledge, and to approach life with a more creative and adaptable mind. In a world that is changing rapidly, such adaptability is priceless. Self-education also teaches humility. In formal settings, people often learn for the sake of grades, recognition, or competition, but when you learn for yourself, you are reminded that knowledge is infinite and you are a lifelong student. Each book you open, each lesson you practice, and each perspective you explore reveals how much more there is to discover. This awareness does not diminish you, it empowers you. It keeps you open, grounded, and ready to grow. The most dangerous belief is to think that you already know enough. Self-education saves us from this trap by keeping us aware of the vastness of human understanding. The strength of self-education lies in its power to transform ordinary moments into extraordinary opportunities for growth. Waiting for a bus can become a chance to listen to a meaningful podcast. A quiet evening can turn into an exploration of a great book. A conversation with someone from a different background can become a classroom without walls. Every day offers countless opportunities to learn, and self-education teaches us to recognize and seize them. Most importantly, it is a commitment to improvement that never ends. Life is full of challenges, and knowledge is one of the strongest tools to face them. Every lesson you teach yourself becomes a source of resilience. Every skill you acquire becomes a form of independence. Every insight you gain becomes a light to guide your path. Self-education ensures that no matter what circumstances you are born into or what obstacles you encounter, your growth remains in your hands. This is why self-education is far more than a substitute for classrooms. It is a mindset, a way of living, and a practice that shapes who you become. It teaches you that your mind has no walls, that your growth has no limits, and that your future is not bound by what you already know, but by how much you are willing to keep learning. Knowledge creates resilience because it equips the mind and heart with the strength to face life's uncertainties and struggles. Resilience is not the absence of difficulties, but the ability to stand firm, adapt, and rise again when challenges strike. Without knowledge, obstacles can feel like immovable walls. With knowledge, those same walls transform into puzzles waiting to be solved. Every lesson learned, every insight gained, and every experience reflected upon becomes a tool that empowers us to endure and overcome. Life does not unfold in straight lines. It is full of setbacks, disappointments, and moments when everything seems to fall apart. In such times, those who have nurtured their minds with self-education possess an inner reservoir of strength. Knowledge reminds them that failure is not final but simply feedback. It reframes difficulties as stepping stones, showing that each obstacle carries within it the potential for growth. Someone who has studied stories of resilience, explored philosophies of endurance, or developed practical skills through self-learning will approach problems with courage instead of despair. They know that storms are temporary, but the lessons they bring can last forever. Resilience is built on perspective, and knowledge expands perspective. Imagine facing a hardship without ever having read about others who survived worse, or without ever learning strategies to manage challenges. The weight of the moment would feel unbearable. But if you've educated yourself about the human spirit, about history, about the journeys of those who endured pain yet rose stronger, then your own struggle becomes part of a larger story. Knowledge whispers that you are not alone, that countless others have walked through fire and come out purified, and that you too can find a way forward. Another way knowledge creates resilience is by building adaptability. Life is unpredictable. Jobs vanish, relationships shift, health falters, and unexpected crises emerge. If you have limited yourself to one narrow path, these changes may break you. But when you've educated yourself in different areas, when you've cultivated curiosity and a willingness to learn, you can adapt. You do not fear change because you know you have the tools to adjust, the skills to rebuild, and the mindset to thrive in new conditions. Self-education gives you flexibility, and flexibility is resilience in motion. Knowledge also reduces fear. Fear often grows in the shadows of ignorance. When we don't understand something, it feels overwhelming and terrifying. But once we study it, analyze it, and learn from it, fear begins to shrink. For example, someone facing financial struggles may feel paralyzed until they begin educating themselves about budgeting, entrepreneurship, or personal growth. What once seemed impossible becomes manageable simply because knowledge replaced uncertainty with clarity. The unknown is no longer a monster in the dark. It becomes a challenge you are prepared to meet. Resilience is also nurtured through problem solving, and knowledge sharpens the ability to solve problems creatively. When difficulties arise, a well-educated mind does not just see the obvious route, it looks for alternatives, draws connections, and imagines possibilities. This creative thinking turns barriers into opportunities. Even when resources are limited, a mind enriched by continuous learning can innovate its way forward. It can transform scarcity into opportunity and hardship into a lesson that strengthens character. Beyond the intellectual benefits, knowledge feeds emotional resilience. Reading about the struggles of others teaches empathy. Studying psychology teaches how to regulate emotions. Learning about spirituality or philosophy offers inner peace and meaning in the face of suffering. Knowledge does not just prepare the mind, it fortifies the heart. It reminds us that we are more than our current struggles, and that even pain can serve a higher purpose when we learn from it. Every time you choose to learn from failure, instead of being crushed by it, you grow more resilient. Every time you face rejection but take away a lesson, you become stronger. Knowledge transforms the narrative from "I was defeated" to "I was taught." And in that shift lies the essence of resilience. The refusal to let hardship define you, and the decision to let it refine you. Resilient people are not those who never fall, but those who rise every time they fall. Knowledge is the force that lifts them up. It gives them strategies to heal, wisdom to adapt, and courage to continue. The storms of life may bend them, but they do not break. With every challenge, their roots grow deeper because knowledge anchors them in strength. Investing in yourself is the most valuable investment you will ever make because everything you achieve in life flows from the person you become. Too often, people pour their energy into accumulating possessions, chasing status, or meeting the expectations of others, but neglect the most important foundation of success, themselves. The truth is, money can be lost, titles can be taken away, and circumstances can change in an instant. But when you invest in yourself through self-education, discipline, and growth, you carry that wealth within you wherever you go. It cannot be stolen, diminished, or destroyed. It is yours for life, and it continues to multiply as long as you keep nurturing it. The greatest gift you can give yourself is growth. Every time you choose to learn a new skill, to strengthen your mind, or to expand your perspective, you are planting seeds that will bear fruit in every aspect of your life. A book read today may become the wisdom that guides you through tomorrow's challenges. A skill practiced today may open doors to opportunities you never imagined. A lesson embraced today may become the very tool you need to lift yourself and others when life tests you. Unlike external possessions that eventually fade, the investment you make in yourself grows stronger over time. Investing in yourself is not only about knowledge, but also about confidence and self-worth. When you dedicate time to your own growth, you're telling yourself, "I matter, my future matters, my potential matters." This act of valuing yourself builds an unshakable foundation of self-belief. The world often tries to define your worth through titles, appearances, or social approval, but none of these truly determine your value. Your worth is shaped by how much you are willing to believe in your own potential and work on becoming the best version of yourself. Self-education is one of the purest expressions of that belief. This kind of investment also multiplies. When you grow, you don't just benefit yourself, you benefit everyone around you. A parent who invests in personal growth becomes a better guide for their children. A leader who invests in knowledge becomes a source of inspiration for their team. A teacher who continues to learn becomes a better mentor to students. Growth is contagious. It spreads like fire, igniting the people around you to believe in their own ability to improve. In this way, the time and energy you put into yourself radiates outward, creating ripples of impact far beyond your own life. Another dimension of investing in yourself is discipline. Growth does not come by chance. It requires intentional choices. Choosing to read instead of wasting time, to practice instead of procrastinating, to focus instead of being distracted. These daily decisions may feel small, but they accumulate into extraordinary results. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Every act of discipline is an investment in your future self, the one who will thank you for refusing to settle for mediocrity. When you prioritize investing in yourself, you also build independence. You stop waiting for others to rescue you, validate you, or create opportunities for you. Instead, you equip yourself with the tools to create your own path. Self-education empowers you to stand on your own, to adapt when circumstances shift, and to keep moving forward no matter who supports you or who doubts you. This independence is the mark of true strength, the ability to rely on your own growth as the foundation of your future. It is easy to spend money on things that bring temporary comfort, but the greatest returns always come from what strengthens your mind and spirit. A new gadget may entertain you for a while, but it won't shape your character. A new possession may impress others, but it won't prepare you for challenges. Only the investment in your own growth creates lasting transformation. The time you spend learning, the energy you devote to building skills, the effort you give to nurturing wisdom, these are the investments that never lose value. What makes this investment extraordinary is that it compounds. Just as money grows with interest, self-investment multiplies with consistency. The person you are today is the result of the choices you made yesterday. The person you will be tomorrow depends on the investment you make today. Each step forward, each lesson learned, each act of discipline adds to the wealth of who you are becoming. Over time, this creates a version of yourself that is wiser, stronger, and more capable than you ever thought possible. Ultimately, the world reflects who you are on the inside. Opportunities will come and go, but the strength of your character, the depth of your knowledge, and the resilience of your spirit remain. When you invest in yourself, you are not just preparing for success. You are building a foundation that no storm can shake. You are becoming someone who not only survives but thrives, someone who turns potential into reality, and someone whose growth inspires others to rise as well. Daily learning builds character and impact because it shapes who you are on the inside while also influencing the world around you. Character is not formed in a single moment. It is built gradually through choices repeated every day. Impact is not achieved by one grand act, but by the steady accumulation of small, meaningful actions that ripple outward into the lives of others. When you dedicate yourself to learning daily, you are not only feeding your mind, you are shaping your identity, strengthening your values, and preparing yourself to leave a mark on the world that endures. The practice of daily learning disciplines the mind. It teaches consistency, patience, and humility. By committing to learn something new every day, you prove to yourself that growth is more important than comfort. Each day you read, practice, or reflect, you exercise self-control and strengthen your determination. This discipline becomes part of your character. You learn to resist distractions, to rise above excuses, and to remain focused on long-term growth. A person with such discipline carries strength into every area of life because the ability to commit to growth daily is the foundation of resilience, leadership, and integrity. Daily learning also shapes humility, one of the strongest qualities of character. You commit to being a lifelong learner. You acknowledge that you do not know everything and never will. This awareness keeps you open to new ideas, perspectives, and corrections. It teaches you to listen deeply, to respect the wisdom of others, and to recognize that growth has no finish line. Humility does not make you small, it makes you strong. It gives you the courage to admit mistakes, the grace to learn from them, and the strength to rise wiser after every failure. In a world where arrogance often leads to downfall, humility born of continuous learning becomes a defining trait of great character. Another way daily learning builds character is by nurturing empathy. When you open your mind to new knowledge, you also open your heart to new experiences. Reading about different cultures, studying history, listening to the stories of people unlike yourself, all of this expands your compassion. You begin to see beyond your own perspective and recognize the humanity in others. This empathy becomes part of your character, guiding your choices, shaping your relationships, and influencing how you respond to the world. Knowledge without empathy can be dangerous, but knowledge with empathy has the power to heal, unite, and uplift. Daily learning does not stop at shaping who you are. It also determines the impact you make. When you grow, you inspire growth in others. The wisdom you gain becomes a light you can share. The skills you develop can be used to solve problems, to innovate, and to create opportunities not only for yourself but for others. A person who learns daily becomes a source of inspiration because their life demonstrates that progress is possible through consistent effort. People around you notice your growth. They see your discipline, your humility, your empathy, and it encourages them to believe in their own potential. Impact is not always about reaching millions. Sometimes it is about transforming one life at a time. A teacher who learns daily impacts their students. A parent who grows impacts their children. A leader who keeps learning impacts their team. Every person you influence carries that growth forward, passing it on to others. In this way, the impact of daily learning spreads far beyond what you may ever see. Small acts of learning today become legacies of influence tomorrow. Daily learning also deepens purpose. As you grow, you begin to recognize your unique strengths, passions, and abilities. You discover what you are capable of, and more importantly, how you can use those capabilities to serve others. Impact is born when knowledge is applied with purpose. The world does not change because you know more. It changes because you use what you know to make a difference. Every lesson you absorb, every insight you gain, every skill you develop becomes a tool you can use to build something greater than yourself. Consistency is what makes this powerful. A single day of learning may feel insignificant, but when repeated over weeks, months, and years, it shapes both character and legacy. Just as water shapes stone not through force but through persistence, daily learning shapes you through repetition. You may not notice the transformation day by day, but over time you will look back and see how far you have come, not only in what you know, but in who you have become. The character you build through daily learning will determine how you face challenges, how you treat others, and how you carry yourself through life. The impact you make will echo through the people you touch, the communities you serve, and the legacy you leave behind. One is the inner reward of growth, the other the outward gift of influence. But both are born from the simple act of choosing to learn a little each day. And in that choice lies the power to shape both your life and the lives of countless others.